Alright, warning before the video even starts. I may or may not be talking about spoilers for various RPGs or games in general. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your warning. But if I do talk about any spoilers, I will mention it before. I'll be like, oh, for this game, spoiler. I'll be something like that. I'll just skip it like a little timestamp or whatever. Just skip it. But, alright, with that out of the way, let's get on to the podcast video-esque thing. Hello, I'm Gavin. I'm a Zoroark wizard. And today I am here to talk about something. Because I decided I want to do a podcast because I love podcasts and I kind of want more people on this kind of podcast. I don't know what to call this yet. So if you want to be in it, I'll decide. I don't want to just have anybody. But at the same time, if you offer, I might consider it. But anyways, let's not get off topic here. Today, I'm talking about one thing that I like. Either I like it or it annoys the hell out of me. And that's backtracking. And you're probably saying, how do you like backtracking first off? Because in this video I'm going to talk about a lot of negatives about backtracking, but I do believe that backtracking doesn't have to be all negative. I mean, at least that's what I believe. Like I said, this is all opinion based. If I didn't say it before, I'm saying it now. So, backtracking. Something that a lot of people don't look forward to. Because basically you're going back to the same area and doing what? Well, if it's doing something new, I think backtracking is worthwhile. Hear me out here. Okay, you go to this area, like this, I don't know, maybe this is the beginning town or whatever. And you go there, and you're just like, oh, there's this obstacle you can't cross. Let's say a rock, for example. And you're like, oh, I wonder how to move this rock. And then behind the rock there's an item. I don't know, just a random treasure chest. You're like, oh, I wonder how I get that item. So you try moving the rock, and you're like, oh, this is no good. So you just basically progress onward because, you're like, I can't do anything about this rock, let's just go onward. Later in the game, maybe, I don't know, 20 more minutes, an hour, who knows how much later, you get the ability to move that rock, and you're just like, yeah, I can move rocks now. It's such an amazing power, which doesn't really sound that impressive. It's basically HM4, but anyways, enough about that. So you get this power to move that rock, and then the plot tells you to go back to that place where you first saw the first rock, and you have to move to get that item. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, as you move that rock, yay, I can finally get this item, and then, wow, progress. Key word about backtracking, to make it good, at least in my opinion, you gotta have some kind of progress out of it. You gotta be exploring something you knew about an old area, instead of just going back to the old area and just doing maybe something the same thing. Because honestly, a game that does this actually pretty well is Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI, midway through the game, spoiler, you lose a lot of your party members. As a matter of fact, the only one you have left is Celis, and you're just like, well, shit. Everything's kind of gloomy and stuff, and then eventually, you get a new airship, and you have all this stuff open up to you. And it's all backtracking. Do you know why this is just good backtracking? You can call it filler, by the way. If you call this filler, at least for Final Fantasy VI wise, I can understand, because it kind of is technically filler. You don't really need to get all the characters back. You just go with 4 characters, and then you're screwed. But if you put in the effort, it's worth it. But anyways, you can call this worthless, or you can call it mindless, but honestly, I like this, because we're going back to old areas, and we're getting something new out of it. For the most part, when you go back to one of those old areas, there's a mini dungeon you gotta go to get one of your party members back, or, I'm trying to think of an example, to get Rem back, you have to go through there's this art gallery you have to go through, and it's a new area in an old place. So you're basically exploring a new place in an old area, and it kind of gives that area more depth, and it's just, well, it's good. It feels good, because you feel like you're getting progress instead of just going back to the area and doing nothing. A game that does a very, very good example of backtracking for no reason, and I hate to say this because I fell in love with this game, and it has broken my heart. Bravely Default. Yes, Bravely Default. That game that's been getting 9s out of 10s and shit, and it's amazing. I still think it's a good game, but after Chapter 5, all you're doing is mindless backtracking, fighting the same bosses over and over again, doing the same thing over and over again to get no results. Literally, no. Besides the fact that the NPCs, now NPCs just remember little things differently, and only a select few NPCs, sorry, and you're getting a little bit of character development with the characters, but very, very little, and it's just nothing's going on. Note how I say chapters 6 through 8 and not 5? Because 5 you technically are backtracking, but in 5 it makes up for it, because it's kind of like how 6 was. Like, you're kind of doing, I feel in a sense like, okay, not how 6 did it, but I feel in chapter 5 of Bravely Default, you have to go redo that task all over again. I think it just feels great, because it's like, alright, I feel like I'm getting ready for the final boss, because after this it's done, and I'm gonna, fight the final boss, but no, it's not like that. It's like, after that, honestly, if the game ended at chapter 5, I would be happy with it. And you technically could end it at chapter 5, but then you don't get the true ending, and it's just stupid. But anyways, after that, you have to go do everything over again in chapter 6. And then in chapter 7, you have to do the same thing. And in chapter 8, you have to do the same thing. It's like, what's the point? I'm getting nothing out. I'm fighting the same 4 bosses, certainly getting stronger. But I can use the same tactics, or I can use the same party. There's nothing. I'm getting nothing out of this. Whereas in Final Fantasy VI, even though I'm backtracking to old areas, I'm getting something out of it. I'm getting party members again, even though they kind of were already had. But at least I'm getting a new area, getting new items, getting new equipment. I'm getting character progression, I'm getting development. Or here in Bravely Default, you're just doing the same thing 4 times. Why? Who thinks this is fun? Like, I want to go. I just wish I was there. It was like, there, the development team, they were just like, we should just make the last fucking 4 chapters backtracking, because that's what all the kids like these days. Is want to backtrack. No, it's the fucking backtracking. Get nothing out of it. Know how I say nothing out of it? Because I think, like I said before, I think backtracking can be good if you get something out of it. Pokemon does the same thing. Like in a lot of Pokemon games, once you get into HM, you go back to other towns and you can do more stuff out of it. You can get TMs. You can find new Pokemon. You get stuff out of it. Like I said for Final Fantasy VI, when you're backtracking to get all your party members back, you're getting progression. Here, just fucking mindlessly kill 4 bosses. Kill 4 bosses again. Kill 4 bosses again. Reset, kill bosses. Just why? Just why? And this is not the only game that do something stupid like this, because honestly, there's other examples of backtracking that I've seen in games, and this is not the first time this has happened. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door is actually a good example of this. Okay, just like with Bravely Default, I really love 1000 Year Door. I don't want to hate it, but I think it's in it's chapter 7, I think? It's one of the last chapters. I haven't played 1000 Year Door in a while. But you're basically, once again, spoilers for 1000 Year Door, you have to backtrack and you have to find this bomb guy so it can allow you to use the cannons so you get to the moon so you get the X-Naut base. Problem is, every time you go to where he is, you're basically backtracking for no reason. You're basically going to the area, going back to every area in the game, just to find out, he's not here, he's in the next area. And you find out, in the end, that all he's doing is just he's back at the first area you started. Like, what's the point of that? It's just so mindless. At least, unlike Bravely Default, though, at least you can do it semi-quickly, and it's not bad. You just basically talk to one NPC and you're out of there, but still, I don't understand it. And to compare this to another Mario game that actually did backtracking good, that isn't an RPG, is Super Mario Galaxy 2. Once you beat Super Mario Galaxy 2, you get all these green stars in these old levels. And you're thinking to yourself, wait, I gotta backtrack and do all this stuff? That's boring. No. The green stars are fun because even though you're backtracking, you're exploring new parts of the areas you would never thought to explore, and it gives you like new depth. Like there could be a green star hidden like under level, and you're just like, oh, how do I get that? And you're just kind of thinking to yourself, you gotta think of all these ways to get it, and it's fun because you're backtracking and you're getting a little bit of progress out of it. You're getting something new out of it. Which, in a sense, I think just makes it not even backtracking anymore, if you think about it. Because even though you're going back to an old area, you're getting something new out of it. I know I keep repeating that theme, but it's crucial. But that's what I think about backtracking. Honestly, I'm just saying this if anybody's a game developer watching and maybe, I don't know. If you're going to do backtracking, like I said, give it an incentive. Don't just make backtracking for the sake of backtracking. Just so you can forcibly go back to an old area. It doesn't work. Even if you tried out, if you wrote the story that way, have things happen. Like, have the character go back and, like I said, get this new item because they backtracked, or something new happens. Don't backtrack and make it repetitive. Like, don't make backtracking happening every 5 seconds. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, oh, now that you beat chapter 1, go back and redo chapter 1, or not, what am I trying to say? Like, when you finish chapter 1, for example, in a game, and they're like, oh, now you're gonna backtrack all the way to the beginning. Okay, that's fine. Chapter 2, you're gonna do the same thing, and it's just like, what's the point? I think a good example of this, what I'm trying to talk about, is Phantom Hourglass. Phantom Hourglass is a good example of, please, don't make your game 75% backtracking. There's no point. In Phantom Hourglass, literally the first dungeon you go to is the dungeon you go to every 5 seconds. You see, in Phantom Hourglass, you go back to this main dungeon called the Ocean King Temple, because you gotta go get something from there. Whether it's a sea chart, so you can actually navigate through the world, or go to a new section of the world map, or just something to, progress the plot. It's not bad in theory, because it's like, oh, you're just gonna go back here and just do it real quick, or you just do this. That's cool. You get to revisit an old area. That's all fine. But then you have to do everything all over again. It's just such a hassle. It's like, okay, picture this. You do everything in this dungeon, right? You do everything right. You do all the puzzles. You complete it. Okay, now we're going to do that whole dungeon, but we're going to give you another dungeon to add on to that. And don't worry, after you beat that dungeon, you have to go back and beat both those dungeons again, and then a new dungeon in the same amount of time. Not only that, we're also giving a time limit. If you don't beat it in the time limit, you get an instant game over, which is even more annoying. It's like they want me to hate this game. And I don't really hate Phantom Hourglass, but it is one of my least favorites because of this. I mean, the only time I really had fun going through floors 1 through 25 all in run. I'm sorry about that. But only time I had fun with that is literally when you have all the items. It's the end of the game. You're just trying to speed run it. I think, because honestly, I like doing that, going through little shortcuts. I will give it that though. There are shortcuts, but very few and far between, to the point where, like, what's the point? There's even a midway point. Well, what's the point of that either? Because literally, when you go to the midway point, it subtracts time from you. Time you actually need. You literally need every second down there, and it's annoying as all hell. There's so many times where I got like unnecessary deaths because I ran out of time. So, right there, it's just a bad example of backtrack. Not only that, it's just a bad example of a lot of other fucking things, which maybe I may or may not talk about in another video. But if you're gonna do something like Phantom Hourglass did, then do it like Spirit Tracks did. You see, Spirit Tracks honestly fixed what Phantom Hourglass broke in that backtracking. Sure, you have to backtrack to the Spirit Tower Temple. I forget what it's called. I think it's like the Spirit Tower. I don't fucking remember what it's called. Also, I just noticed my mic popped or whatever. Sorry about that. Anyways, when you go to the backtrack there, you don't have to restart everything. You literally just go to the next area, which is good. And there's also no timer, which is also amazing too. So just kudos for them for getting rid of the fucking useless feature. I was in Phantom Hourglass. Thank you so much. But yeah. You do backtrack there, you're literally just going to a new area. You're not replaying the old areas over and over again to get to the new area. You're just going straight there in that old area, which is good. Because if you're gonna at least backtrack to the same area, I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. I want to do something new there. That's what Spirit Tracks did. It just how'd you do that? And honestly, I get disgusted in why I think Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass and compare them, and why I think Spirit Tracks is better. But that's for another video if I were to do something like that. Maybe I will one of these days. It's just if you like this, if people like this kind of podcast this ramble thing, let me know. I'll definitely do a video talking about Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks and why I like both of them, but obviously Spirit Tracks is better. But I did make my point across. Backtracking, it can be good, but don't fuck it up. Don't make it so literally you're doing nothing. Don't make it filler. Nobody likes that. You just if you're gonna make backtracking, make it worthwhile. Make it optional too, like how Pokemon does it, where you get a new HM and you go back to there. It's optional, but you get new things out of it if you choose to do it. And that's honestly, I think that's another good way you can do backtracking without making it forced down your throat. Like Bravely Default. But yeah. So that's my thoughts about backtracking. It's good, you get an incentive out of it, and it's optional, but it's bad when it's forced down your throat and it's repetitive as all hell. So that's my opinion. If you guys agree or not, let me know in the comments. Honestly, if people like this, I'm willing to do more. I got a couple other topics, but I really want to do a video about this one because it really pissed me off when I was playing Bravely Default. And I was like, I just want to make a video just talking about this. So yeah. So until then, I'm signing off. I'll see you guys later.